So for Neil and Noah, we're going over the handouts. I'm going to read through chapter 9, parts of it. I'm going to do it very slowly, and we're going to pick some sentences apart. What's the subject? What's the verb? What's the direct object? What's the purpose? We're just going to dissect that baby, so we know what's going on. And then I'm going to go over these handouts. Neil and Nathan, Noah and Nathan, I will have those for you next week, but I also sent your mom a link. And just, work on committing these to memory. But the more you read, the more you recognize them and the easier it is to memorize, right? So let's grab our book and go to chapter 9. Before we do anything, when you guys were reviewing, is there anything you're stumbling over? And this could be anything. This could be, I don't know how to find the indirect object. I don't even know what an indirect object is. I don't understand prepositions. I don't understand, why this verb is singular or this verb is plural. Is there anything that is habitually tripping you up?
Yeah, sometimes just like...
Can you think of an example, Gabriel, or can you find an example?
I'd have to look.
Here's what I'd like you to do. I would like you, when you're reading, and like I said, I want you to read chapters 6 through 9, and the colloquia 6 through 9 again. I think 1 through 5 should be really easy at this point. Probably pretty easy. But I would like you to read through those, and I would like you to work on committing endings to memory, or forms to memory from the worksheets, which simply means get out a piece of paper and write as many as you can remember and then check yourself. And then do it again and again and again and again. If it makes you feel any better, I am currently working on remediating my Greek endings. I'm not asking you to do anything I'm not doing every day at home. I also, we're not going to do this in this class, but eventually Latin students have to learn where all the little long marks go. And I'm memorizing all the long marks right now. I have sheets and sheets of paper at home of just over and over and over. It's what it takes. It's what it takes. I was reading a blog put out by the place where I'm taking classes. And apparently, and I put this in the email to your parents, somebody asked, how long does it take to learn a language? At least 600 hours. In that language. You need to put in at least 600 hours. So if you think about it, if you did an hour a day every day, that's almost 2 years of an hour a day every day before you can even think about, becoming fluent. And they said, obviously some people learn more slowly. I'm pretty sure I'm in that category. And some languages are harder than others. So it can be up to 2,000 hours. Somewhere between 600 and 2,000 hours on average. So before you feel like, oh, I'm not doing, are you at least spending 45 minutes a day? This is a key. So the classes that I take, obviously I'm an adult. We meet an hour and a half once a week, but they expect us to spend 5 hours a week outside of class reading Latin. Like if we want to get better at all, 5 hours a week, not during class. So I'm not really asking that of you, but our goal this year, and I think this is easier, guys. If you say, I'm going to sit here till I read this whole chapter. Oh, man. What if it's a hard chapter? What if your mind is just not with it? We all know sometimes this happens, right?
Yeah.
But if you say, I'm going to give my best attention for the next 20 minutes. Maybe you read 5 sentences, but you spent 20 minutes reading Latin, right? It counts. And then that afternoon, you're like, I'm going to spend another 25 minutes reading Latin. Everybody leave me alone. Putting earplugs in, I'm focused. See, then it's 45 minutes a day. You don't have to do it all at once. If your brain starts to get tired, step away. You're not doing yourself any favors anyway, I know you guys know what I mean. Some subjects, math, sometimes it requires a lot of brain power, and you just don't have it. or you don't have it for a long time, do 15 minutes 3 times a day. And just say, for the next 15 minutes, I do nothing but think and look in Latin. Or I'm watching this part of this video, and I'm following along. And that's enough. But if you don't, it's much better to do that than it is to say, I'm going to wait and do 2.5 hours on Friday. It will not work. It will not work. You can't memorize or learn anything if you only look at it once or twice a week. It's got to be every day, guys. But do either of you take music lessons?
Yeah, I take piano.
Do they expect you to practice every day?
Yes, I do.
See? So I'm not mean, right? I'm just saying that if you want to get better at something, you got to do it a little bit every day. And sometimes I'm not feeling great. Sometimes I'm busy. Like today, I'm here till 2. I'm not going to go home and spend an hour reading my Latin, probably, and then another half hour on my Greek. But, you know, I should do 15 or 20 minutes. I mean, I'm reading it here with you, but I'm reading stuff that's a little harder than this, you know? And so make sure I do it every day. But sometimes I can't do it as much. So yesterday I did extra. I spent maybe an hour and a half yesterday with my Latin. And I translated sentences into Latin and, you know, things like that, just for my practice. And drilled my little macrons. So anyway, that's my pep talk for you guys, that, you know, it's hard. It's better to do 15 minutes than nothing at all. But it's better if you can do 45 minutes every day, to an hour, 45 minutes to an hour. But you don't have to do it all at once. And if your mind starts wandering, just stop and come back later. Okay, anyway, that's my pep talk. And so your other job, so 6 through 9, this can be, you can watch the videos that I made. You probably already have watched them. You can watch them again, because I tried to kind of talk about it a little bit. I made some mistakes. I'm not perfect, but I did the best I could. I'm going to remake these videos eventually when I get better. But then the Luke Rainieri, the Scorpio Martinez, you know, the guy with the page on, and he's much better than me. Listen to him. And especially, this is directed at you, Gabriel, but both of you. If there is a sentence you encounter, like, I've read this like 20 times, and I still don't know what this means. I am still not sure why that ending is on that word. Write in the book if you're allowed, or stick a Post-it note and say, line whatever, and bring it in next week. And let's go over painstakingly each of those problem areas, okay? Before I start reading, the worksheet, the handout, like I said, I'm going to give Noah and Nathan next week. It's sort of in opposite order. If you go to the last page, or the last 2 pages, all right, it's chapter 7, right? And then it works up for chapter 9. So I printed out chapter 7 because it has all of the 3 all the first and second declension nouns, those nouns, the us, and I would like you to, first of all, read through that sheet, and this is the first place to start. If you cannot write out those endings, or if you can't take puella and servus et oppidum through all their endings, this is where we need to start, right? We need to be able to take puella or servus or oppidum or any noun of this sort through all its endings. And just do it over and over and over again and check yourself. The rest of that is, we have the is, ea, id, right? It's on the very last page. That's the next thing to work on. A lot of them you've just read so many times. You're probably knowing that is he, and ea is she, and eam is her as a direct object, you know, because you've read it. But that's the next thing to work on, till you can write out is, ea, id, eos, 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 ae, all right? And then work in reverse order. So go then to the next forward page, which is the chapter 8, and it's hikai kok, ile ila ilud, quick quack quad. All right, and on the back of that sheet it has some weird tantus, tantum, some weird vocabulary. And then the newest sheet has your, ipse, ipsa, ipsum. And on the very front, we have what are called third declension nouns, which we meet in chapter 9. We really ratcheted it up when we hit chapter 9 because we're no longer using I, arm, is, as, is. It's different endings suddenly for pastor.
Those are the ones I memorized.
Oh, okay, good. Well, we need to memorize all of them.
Still, yeah.
So, but I'd say the noun endings are key. So the ones at the very next to last page, the us, and these endings. And then start working through the others, all right? And I don't expect you to, I'm not saying come here next week and write them all and have them. But be working on them, right? Be working on them. In the meantime, you have this so that when you're reading, sometimes it's a good thing to stop and say, quibus. Why is it quibus? Oh, I'm going to look at the qui-qui-quod chart. Oh, quibus. It's dative or ablative, and it's plural. What's it talking about? What's it referring to? Do I think it's dative or do I think it's ablative? Why do I think that? And if you can't answer that question, write it on a Post-it note, right? And say, I don't know what the quibus thing is. So that's what I want to do today and next week, right? The whole rest of the time, we're going to work our way through chapter 9, and we're going to stop at a lot of sentences, and we're going to see if we can figure out what's going on with them, all right? Now, I might write some of them on the board, but honestly, it just takes extra time. You've got them written in front of you, so there's no real reason to, maybe, but occasionally I will. So here we go. I know you know more than you ever wanted to know about this shepherd and his blasted black sheep that runs off into the woods and almost gets eaten by a wolf. But we're going to talk about it again. Okay. Hic vir, qui in campo ambulat, pastor Julii est. All right. Let's just analyze the sentence. Yeah.
I forgot the word heat.
Hic. Let's take a look at our worksheet. On the second page of your worksheet bundle, chapter 8, it says he kai kok. Do you see that?
Oh, I do.
And it says it means this. It's this or that. So I'm going to just read with me. It says the demonstrative pronoun, adjective, he kai kok. This chapter introduces the full forms of the demonstrative pronoun or adjective, he kai kok. And then in parentheses it says this, that, them, he, she, it, they. It can mean all of those things. But hic vir, we probably wouldn't say he man. Probably means this man, this man. And can you tell me why it says hic vir and not hike vir? Why not hike vir?
Because it's taking place of the name, I believe. It's nominative.
It is nominative because vir, man, is nominative. It's the subject. But what would be wrong with calling him hike vir? He's not feminine. Right?
Yeah.
So look at that chart, Gabriel. He has to be hic vir.
And it can't be hawk because.
And because he's not neuter.
Yeah.
He's masculine and he's nominative, so he's hic. Does that make sense to both of
Yeah,
you?
it does.
Right. So it's not really a mystery. It's just sometimes it's not always obvious to us. And I feel that we didn't do enough of that. I will do, guys, I'll tell you, I'll do a better job with the group after you than I did with you. But, hopefully you can read a lot more Latin than you could at the beginning of our time together. But we need to sort of remediate some of those gaps now. Now that you have enough of a vocabulary to deal with, right? You know a lot of words. You know what they mean. But now we need to, why is it that word? We're not going to analyze every sentence that way. But this is a good, especially when it's just the two of you, this is a good thing to spend our day on. Okay, so hic vir, this man. What is he doing?
He's guarding the sheep.
Well, no, in this sentence, you only use the words in this sentence. There are two verbs in this sentence. Hic vir qui in campo ambulat pastor Julii est.
I want to say in is, wait.
Well, find me some verbs.
Okay. What ambulat is?
Ambulat is a verb. And what does it mean? Quid significat ambulat? Walk. So the wir ambulat, walks. What else does it say about him? It's not really something he does, to give you a hint. Yeah, so what's the verb in that phrase?
Is it?
Pastor, is pastor a verb?
No.
Is Julii a verb?
No, but S.
Est is a verb. It's a linking verb. So we know two things about hiquir. Hiquir ambulat and hiquir est. We know two things about him. So let's tackle the est, first of all. You already told me. Est what? Hiquir est what? Yeah, he's pastor Julii. Yes, he is the shepherd. What case is Julii?
UE. Is it? I have to take a look. I need to get more familiar with things. But is it genitive?
It's genitive. It's possessive. Yes, become familiar. I sent you out the chapter 1 worksheet. You know, I sent a link to all of them that you could print out at home. It has nominative, genitive, dative, accusative, ablative. It has all the jobs. Genitive is our possessive. So Julius's shepherd. Hiquir pastor Julii est. Beautiful. Beautiful. But now we have this other verb. And I notice a couple of things. I notice it's in a group of words separated out by commas. And it starts with qui. Qui in campo ambulat. What, could you put that in English for me? Go ahead. Who walks in the field? Who walks in the field? Now, question number 2. This is on the same sheet as the hic. If you look down a little bit, see the qui quo quote? See all the Q words at the bottom? It says, hiquir qui in campo ambulat. What case is qui?
Nominative as masculine.
It's nominative as masculine. Now, we see it could be plural,
Yeah,
and it
but
could be
it's only-
singular.
It's only talking about one person.
It is. What is it talking about in English? What is it talking about?
It's talking about the pastor.
The pastor. Qui, who, is walking in the field. If you think about just those words, who is walking in the field? Who is doing the walking? The who. I know it sounds weird to say. Yeah, but I just want to look at qui in campo ambulat, just those words. You see, and not anything outside of the commas. The thing that is the subject is the who. Who is walking? The who. Who walks in the field? The who is doing the walking. It's the subject. Now, this works the same in English. I think we talked about this. Sometimes we don't know when to use who and when to use whom. And I mentioned this last year. Whom is an object. So we say, the man who is walking in the field is Julius a shepherd. But we say, the man whom Julius is calling is a shepherd. All right? Because in that whom Julius is calling, who's doing the calling? Julius is calling. Julius calls whom? It's an object. And that's how we always know if it's who or whom. Whom is always an object. So qui is always a subject. Now, later on, I think we'll run into a sentence with a not a subject. Qui. So, does that make sense?
Yeah.
We've pretty much picked that sentence apart. That is everything that's going on. When we read, well, first of all, let me ask you, is there a direct object anywhere in this sentence? Is there something that is accusative case that would tip us off? Is somebody doing something to someone else?
No.
No. Walking, I mean, you could walk a journey, but walk isn't usually something we use a direct object with.
Yeah.
You don't walk a thing. You can walk the dog. And dog would be a direct object. But when we're just generally walking, and is never takes a direct object. Is has no action whatsoever, right? So we have subjects and we have a genitive possessive. What about campo? What case is campo?
I believe campo would be, well,
It could be dative. We have us, o.
Is it ablative?
It can be ablative or dative. Which one must it be here? And to know, we have to look in front of it. In campo. In campo.
So
What happens when we use the word in?
it can't be accusative.
No, certainly, we know it's not accusative. We know it's either dative or ablative.
Ablative, sorry.
Yeah,
Ah,
it has to be ablative.
for some reason I confused.
No, that's fine, that's fine. You know what? We've had the summer off, Gabriel. We'll get our lingo back. We'll get our groove back. In takes the ablative. Sometimes it takes the accusative. And you're like, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? Here's the easy way to remember, right? When a preposition has to do with being in a place, it's almost always with the ablative. And when a preposition has to do with motion towards a place, it's almost always accusative. So in can do both. In campo means in the field. In campum means into the field. This is almost always true, guys. When you see a preposition and it has a word with it, if the word it has with it is accusative, it probably involves moving. And if it has something that's ablative, it probably means just being chill where you are.
So it's ablative, I believe.
It's ablative because he's in the field. He's already in it. And we're clued into the fact that it has to be, it has to be ablative or dative because the O, but it has in with it. And in doesn't take the dative. It only, so do you see how process of elimination?
Yeah.
Like it has to be ablative or dative because of the ending. Well, it has to be ablative or accusative because of the in. Which one of those appears in both lists? Ablative. Right? And when we're done. Congratulations. You just picked apart every word in that sentence. See? You might be better at this than... I wasn't implying you weren't good. Okay, here we go. Pastor non solus est in campo, nam canis niger cum eo est, et cantum oves. Oh, that is just a lot of words. Pastor. What case is pastor?
I want to say nominative.
I want you to say nominative too. Because if we look on the front of the front sheet where pastor is declined, I see that the word pastor has to be the subject.
Yeah.
If it were not the subject, it would have some other ending on it.
Like pastorum would be different.
Pastorum would be different. Pastor has to be the subject. So pastor, is there a word that goes with pastor and describes him? Not alone. Solus. Non solus. What case is solus?
Solus.
Yeah, and what gender? It's nominative and it's masculine. Because so is pastor. If we're going to describe the pastor, he's got to be solus. He doesn't have to be soulless. He could have friends. But in this case, well, he's got sheep. But apparently the sheep don't count. Oh, he's non solus. Non solus. Yeah, so it's because he's got all these sheep.
So sheep do count.
Sheep do count. So non solus est in campo. We already covered est and in campo. We know what that means. So notice that if we were wondering what solus is describing, is it describing the dog? It actually could be. Is it describing the sheep? Well, solus matches pastor. So we know pastor non solus est in campo. Nam canis niger kumeo est, et kentamoes. Nam, how were we translating nam? We haven't really talked about that. Has it kind of filtered into you what we mean? Kind of ignore it? Well, I'm glad I asked. So let's think about the context. The shepherd isn't alone. The black dog is with him and 100 sheep. So what's the connection between those two? He's not alone. He has a dog and 100 sheep. What kind of connecting word could we use that make those go together and make sense? He's not alone. But, could be but. What? But is said. So we haven't been using nam for but. There's a better one though. Because I could say, he's not alone, but he has a dog and 100 sheep. But how about another one? He's not alone. Why is he not alone? Because he has a dog and 100 sheep. Nam usually has the feel of because or for. Now, be very careful. We use for different ways in English. Like, I have a gift for you. I don't mean that kind of for. I mean the for that means because, right? He is not alone, for he has a dog and 100 sheep, right? Nam. So here's your job. Whenever you see nam pop up, take a look at the relationship, right? And this is also a clue. Whenever you see, anytime, some weird word, look at the relationship between the two statements on either side, and it will clue you. If they're agreeing with each other, it probably means and, but in this case, it's like, not this, because this, right? And so you might not always nail it, but you'll in general get pretty close if we look at the relationship between them. Okay, so moving on. Nam canis niger cum eo est. What case is canis? Oh, this is a very tricky one. Oh, it's mean and tricky. Let's look at our paper. Look at the front. Look at the front of your paper. Canis. Look at ovis. Canis is like ovis. Canis, canis, cani, canem, cane. Canes, canium. Actually, it'd be canum. Canibus, canes, canibus. What is canis? We got two options. It has to be nominative or genitive. Canis. Now, here's why you said what you said. Because is the dative or ablative plural ending for nouns. I know it. Now, there's a little trick here. The is that you thought it was has a little line over it, and this one doesn't. But I'm not really being a stickler for those yet, so there is a difference. There is a recognizable difference. But canis, so canis has to be genitive, or it has to be nominative. Do you have a, you think it's genitive? So what belongs to the dog? The dog's what? If it's genitive, then it's dogs with an apostrophe S. Do we like that? No, we don't like that. So it's nominative, it's nominative, and it's a canis niger. Canis niger. Oh, niger is like puer, et ager. It's always nominative. Niger. It's one of those weird us that doesn't end in us, like ager. Canis niger. That works because niger is nominative, and it seems to be the black dog. So I like them both being nominative and masculine and singular. Cum eo. Tell me all about eo. What does eo mean, and what case is it? And if you want, we can go to the isaid page. I think it's pronoun too. Go to the very last page. Ooh. Last page. At the top, is ea id. You should find an ao. Oh, is it not on your last page?
Oh, no, wait.
Oh, is it not on the last page? Oh, it's on the... Oh, I must not have stapled them all together.
Ablative, I see it. Ablative masculine.
Okay, it's either ablative masculine or ablative neuter.
Oh, yeah, I see it.
Right? We have two choices, ao, ao. So what, is there another word in that sentence that might tip us off that we would expect an ablative there? Like look right before ao.
There's cum.
Cum ao. Oh, cum. Cum takes the ablative. Lucky us, because we have an ablative. And remember, preposition with the ablative means you're just there, you're not moving, with him. With him, right? Who's the him?
It's the dog.
Oh, he has a dog with the dog?
Oh, no, it's not.
The shepherd, the shepherd. So now you tell me, is ao ablative masculine or ablative neuter? Why? Because it means the shepherd, because the shepherd is masculine, with him. Now, if the thing that it was referring to was neuter, we'd still say cum ao, but it would mean with it, right?
And I don't
It's the same word,
I don't think
but
the pastor's an it.
no, do not make him an it. He works hard. Give him some respect. Cum ao. Is this helping? Do you feel like you're digging in? Okay, awesome, awesome. Okay, et centum always. What does et mean?
And, I believe.
And, beautiful. Centum always. Oh, guys, what case is always?
Always.
You got your sheet.
Plural.
It is plural. It's two options. Look at our little always chart on the front. What are our options? It's either a subject or a direct object. All right. How are we going to figure out which one it is?
Well, we have to maybe check the word before.
We could check the word centum. Centum doesn't help me a lot, unfortunately. Okay, let's look at the whole phrase. Canis niger cum eo est et centum always.
I mean, we already have a nominative in there.
We already have a nominative. What's the verb of that whole section?
I would say est.
Est.
It's a linking verb.
And so, does it ever have a direct object? Is? Do we is something?
No.
We can't ever is something. Est can't have accusative. Who are with him? Just in English. Who's with him?
The black dog.
The black dog and
100 sheep.
100 sheep, black dog, they're both with him. They're both being subjects, even though est is singular. The 100 sheep are sort of an afterthought. A black dog is with him, and 100 sheep. We would do that in English, right? We would say, a black dog and 100 sheep are with him. Or we might say, there is a black dog with him and 100 sheep. But the 100 sheep are being a subject. They're also there with him. Does that make sense? Yeah. We're digging our way to the bottom of this. Okay. All right. We have a little colon. And then we have una ovis nigra et un decentum ovis albi. Oh, okay. Can you just tell me in English what it says?
There's one sheep
Mm-hmm.
that is black.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
one black sheep.
One black sheep and
99 white ones.
99 white sheep. Okay. So it's got a colon in front of it. It's telling you something more about a word they already used. What's it telling you more about?
The 100 sheep.
The centum always. And remind me, what case was always in?
Nominative.
It's nominative. So you want to guess what una ovis nigra et un decentum ovis albi? Want to guess on the case? Because it's describing always. It's all nominative. It's all nominative. There's no verb in that section, is there? It's just describing. It's there are 100 sheep, one black sheep, 99 white sheep. All nominative. Let's test it out. Ois definitely can be nominative. Una et nigra, that's got to be nominative. If it wasn't, it would have a little line over the A. And then we have ois albai. Albai, well, it could be nominative and plural. It could be genitive and singular. It could be dative and singular. So, but here's how I love to do this, guys. And I don't suggest you should do this to every sentence, all right? But if you're really like, this is driving me crazy and I don't know why it's that ending, okay? Here's how you can do it. Ois albai. We know that they're white sheep. Like, we got the idea. We get it. So we look and we say, okay, this is plural, nominative, or accusative. That's its choices. This is plural nominative or genitive singular or dative singular. And then we find the one that's in both. Do you see what I mean? Yeah. Like, there's no accusative here, there's no genitive or dative here, and if these two words go together, we narrowed it down. Does that make sense what I did? Like, I wrote down everything this could be, and I wrote down everything this could be, and wherever the paths cross, it's got to be what it is. Yeah. Or, if not, then albai doesn't go with always. But we know it does, because we are smart enough to follow the gist of the story, and we know this guy has 1 black sheep and 99 white sheep. We got it. We know it's white sheep. So this is something we can do sometimes when we're stumped on an ending, only if it's got an adjective. But especially if there are different declensions. You know, alba is using the I, a, and oes is using the is, ema endings, but we can see where they cross. And we got it. Okay. Oh my gosh, our time is flying fast. Pastor unam oem nigram et multas oes albas habet. Oh, I see something different. What case is pastor? There's got to be nominative. We already said pastor is always pastor. Always the subject. Unam. Oh, okay, first of all, what does this sentence say? Just tell me what it says in English.
The shepherd has 1 black sheep and 1 goat.
Yeah, which they've already told us, but they've decided to tell us in a different way.
They have to say it again.
But we've got a twist here. So you told me he has one black sheep. So I'm guessing unam, oem, nigram all goes together. 1 black sheep. Got it. What case are they all? They're all accusative. They don't all look the same. But if we look at our little OWIS chart on the front of our, well, see, OWEM is accusative. And nigram et unam have to be accusative. How about multas oes albas? What are all those endings?
Are they... He's accusative as well.
They are accusative. Are they singular or plural?
They're
They're all plural. Oes is plural accusative, and as, if you're doing the us, adjectives, is also accusative in plural and feminine. So it all goes together. They all indeed match, even though they don't look the same. Okay, here's what I want to do. Oh, no, let's read the next sentence. I was going to look for a qui quod sentence that had not qui as the subject, but let's just press on. I'm going to let us go like 5 or 10 more minutes, and then I'm going to get things ready for the high school class, but also I'm really hungry. I brought some cheese. Okay. Is est dominus ovis nigrae et ovium albarum. Is. Tell me everything you can about the word is. What is it? What's up with that? I will direct you, if you would like, to the page that is Next to last? Yes, next to last, not last. Or it is for my bundle. Maybe I didn't staple it. And it has is ea id. And what does is ea id mean? He, she, it, they, them, him, her, depending on the, he, she, it, basically. So, if is, what gender is is? So, would we say she?
No, I would say he.
He. And what case is it?
I want to say nominative.
Nominative. He. The subject. Is, est. Who do you think the is referring to in this story? The shepherd, pastor. Pastor, he's masculine. Is, he. Est, dominus. What case is dominus?
Dominus is also nominative.
Boom! Because he is the master. Is he doing something to anyone? No. It's just he is. There's no accusative, right? He is the master. Now, guys. Ovis nigrai et ovim albarum. Ovis nigrai. What case are we dealing with?
I think genitive.
I think so too. What makes you think so?
The ovis, first of all.
Okay.
Very similar to the nominative and the I'm trying to I lost my spot.
Ovis
And
nigrai.
nigrat, the ending, the ae, I know is genitive.
Yes. See, and so you did kind of what I talked about, didn't you? So
Yeah.
here's the deal. Always has to be nominative or genitive singular. Those are its only choices. And nigrai has to be genitive or dative singular or nominative plural. Where do they cross? Genitive singular. Where they meet. So if they go together, and they do, because we know after so many sentences, the guy has a black sheep. We got it. We know that they go together. He is the master of a black sheep. Et ovium albarum. What case is that? They each only genitive plural, and we are so lucky they only have one choice. Arum is always genitive plural, and if we look on our ovis chart, ovium, that's got to be genitive plural, and I'm so happy that they match because I really felt like he had white sheep. Yes, we know. Good. He is the master of a black sheep and of white sheep. Boom. All right. Okay, this is the last sentence we're going to do. All right? And just what I want you to do is work your way. Read all the way through 6 through 9 and the colloquia. And your job is, don't do this on every sentence. If you know what's going on, it's good. But stop at a few sentences and do this. All right? And if you can't figure it out, write it down and bring it, okay? And we'll dig in, because I plan on just doing review again next week, all right? And in the meantime, be committing things to memory. Don't try to do them all at once. Wait till you get one of them really good. Like all my noun endings are really good. Now I'm going to dig into the is, ea, id, right? Don't try to do them all. Don't even try to do like all the singular and all the plural at the same time. Break it into chunks, target chunks, and then write them out. It's like, oh, I nailed it. Today I'm going to add another column, right? And then wait till you nail that one too. All right? That's what I want you to do this week. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, and that for you guys who are watching. Okay, one more sentence. Pastor, ovi nigrai, et ovibus albis, aquam et cibum dat. All right, not a hard question at this point. What case is pastor?
Nominative.
Oh my goodness, yes. Okay, I'm guessing since we keep dealing with white sheep and black sheep, ovi nigrai go together. because it's the word for black sheep.
Except
What
It's
case?
dative.
Oh, are we sure? If we're not sure, here's 2 ways to be sure. First of all, we can only be dative, it says so on my ending chart. And negri can be dative. So I don't even have to do my little meeting of minds chart, because we is always dative, and negri can be dative, so we're golden. Owi negri et ovibus albis. What case are we dealing with? Why? What else could it be?
Could be.
It could be ablative plural, and I agree with you. Why might we suspect it's dative rather than ablative?
Because it's still talking about the sheep.
Yeah, because we just said he does it to the black sheep at albis ovibus. The likelihood is they're all dative.
So it's
And I
still
agree.
dative, right?
Okay. Aquam et cibum. What are we dealing with?
I want to say possibly accusative.
I think, first of all, aquam can only be accusative.
Yeah.
Is always an accusative ending for the first declension nouns. Cibum, its nominative form is cibus. And so in that case, cibum also can only be accusative. So that pretty much nails it down for us. At dot, what does dot mean? Gives. I'm going to do really fancy. Is it first, second, or third person? Do you know what that means? So first person is I or we. Second person is you or y'all. And third person is he, she, or it, or they.
I think it's the second. I'm not entirely sure.
Okay? Because we haven't really used this one yet in this book, verbs with the other. They've just been using these. Dot and dot. He, she, or it gives. They give. So that was really not a fair question, because it just occurred to me, wait a minute, I don't think you've done you yet. They haven't done I or you for verbs. So that was a mean, ugly question, and I take it back. So pastor dot, aquam et cibum, ovi nigrai, et ovibus albis. The shepherd gives water and food to the black sheep and to the white sheep. Right?
Yeah.
Perfect. You nailed it. You dissected it. Beautiful. Here's your challenge. While you're going back over chapters 6 through 9, every day, so I'm assuming you'll do 4 days worth, find one sentence and see if you can figure out what every word is doing. Right? See if you can just jot it down, what case it is, and if you do, then go back and say, does that make sense with what I think it means? Because you probably read that and you get, okay, yeah, he gives water and food, he gives it to them. But if you really nail it down and say, okay, it's accusative, he gives this to them, indirect object, see if it fits with your understanding of what's going on in the story. And if it doesn't, make note of it and ask me. Or if you come to one who's like, I have no idea what case that is. I don't know what's going on there. Write it down. And it can be our test case, right? And we'll all work through it together. Okay?
All right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right, good.